shirt off. Take your shirt off. Plenty.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the world's most reckless football show, the Shirtless Plantain Show. Over the past few weeks, we've given you a couple of classic games, a lot of classic games. And we want to switch that over to talking about some of our favorite players growing up, and hopefully they're your favorites too. Right now in football, it's still trying to figure out how to get back. So that's really the news, and that's that. So let's get straight into the content. Ladies and gentlemen, this week we're going to talk about some classic players. We're going to start off with the second greatest Danish player of all time, the first being Nicolas Bentner. Today, it's take it away.
All right, so we're talking about Michael Laudrup, the OG, the legend. He had a fantastic, the greatest era of Danish national football. He was sort of at the center of that. And his club career was even just as stellar. You know, he moved to Juventus and spent his first 6 years there. The first 2 years, I think he spent on loan with Lazio. They didn't tell him that they would send him out on loan before they signed him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have signed, but he did it anyway. And he was essentially, once he was old enough, because he was a prodigy, he was a young prodigy. Once he was old enough, he was supposed to replace Michel Platini at Juventus, but he went through an entire season and didn't score any goals. So he ended up leaving Juventus and went to Barcelona right as Johan Cruyff went to Barcelona. So he was essentially the linchpin, the attacking linchpin of that dream team, the team that had Romario, Koeman, Pep Guardiola. He was like the main playmaker for that team. And he won 4 straight La Ligas under Johan Cruyff. And in his 4th year, I believe he got dropped for the Champions League final because back then you could only have so many foreigners on your team, and he was Danish, not Spanish. So he got dropped, he saw the writing on the wall and switched to Real Madrid for the next season. We all know that you don't really cross that divide like that. And he won La Liga there again. So keep in mind, this is a Danish guy that came to Spain and won 5 straight La Ligas across 2 of the biggest teams in Spanish history. And on top of that, he's also known for, in his last season at Barcelona, Barcelona beat Real Madrid 5-0. Then when he switched over to Real Madrid had revenge. They beat Barcelona 5-0. And he was involved in both of those games on the winning side. So Michael Laudrup, he's probably just as iconic in Spain as he is in Denmark. You know, and on top of that, he essentially popularized the croqueta, like the move that we all know that we associate with Iniesta. That's where he got it from, Michael Laudrup. On top of that, he had the little scoop move and shit. Excuse my French. He used to do the street football scoop move where he would pass with a scoop, almost like a chip over the defense, but the striker, he used to do that. And the guy was just an amazing player. Like, I remember Johan Cruyff saying about him that he came from a country that was too wealthy, and as a result, he lacked the grit to sort of be, you know, like the very, very most elite player in the world. But to many of his peers, he was the best player in the world during that period.
When you talk about the favela gene, you know, the favela gene manifests in different forms, but you'll never ever get it in mainland Europe. You know, there isn't a German player with the favela gene, there isn't a Danish player with the favela gene, but you go to South America now and you go to the Benelux and France, they've all got the favela gene, you know.
He came from a country that was too wealthy, and as a result, he lacked the grit to sort of be, you know, like the very, very most elite player in the world. But to many of his peers, he was the best player in the world during that period. Right. No. Well, I think I think in a sense, I feel as if you kind of need to have a very unique circumstance in life if you were born in Europe to have that gene. The only player that comes to mind that really has that gene that's European for me would be Ibrahimovic. Because he grew up as an immigrant in Sweden, so as a result, you know, he kind of came up a little rough. So he has it, but besides him, most Europeans don't. Laudrup certainly didn't. Across a couple eras, I would say, you know, we mentioned Iniesta a little earlier with the croqueta thing and the fact that they both played for Barcelona. Then the player I think he resembles most would probably be Mesut Ozil, but among the young cats, I'd say he's more of a Jack Grealish type, you know, a guy that could carry the ball, had amazing passing, could dribble really well, could play various positions in the attacking 3, except as a 9. He didn't really play as a 9. Could get some goals, but probably could have gotten more goals. But, you know, Ozil, Iniesta, Grealish, that kind of player, you know, but probably better than all the guys I mentioned. Maybe not Iniesta.
Speaking of modern players, let's talk about Nicolas Anelka, who was probably one of my favorite strikers of all time. He put the fear of God in me when he joined Arsenal. So, Coach, take it away. Talk about Anelka.
First of all, I think he's the first player in history to ever be booed by every single away club to ever play the game. That's how many clubs he played for.
I mean, the guy had a stint in India.
Yeah. So
I think
Nicolas Anelka had the loyalty of a Yoruba man in a marriage.
I feel like he's one of those players that if we're not careful, we could easily be just forgotten and swept under the rug. He's someone that came from France at 17, 18 years old. He stats wise, I know that's what a lot of people care about these days. Stats wise, his first season wasn't great, but 18 years old and scoring 6 goals and getting 6 assists in your first season and winning a double and scoring in a cup final. I mean, that's a lot coming from at the time as well, coming into a new league, and there isn't that much of an established presence of young black French footballers in the country in England, and he's trailblazing. His second season, however, which is what got him the move and got Arsenal able to buy Colney, was much better. I mean, in terms of stats, 17 goals. I think 5 assists, and he scored home and away against United, which, if we're comparing errors now, if your striker is scoring against your closest opposition, home and away, then, he automatically is among the conversation for one of the best strikers in the land or in Europe or whatever. That's just the metric it goes by, because a lot of players these days are flat track bullies. They'll score all the goals in the world against the lower half sides of the team, lower half sides, shall I say, and then
Aubameyang.
Whoa! Who said that? Oh, okay. And then the moment it gets to one of the top sides, it's like, well, they go hiding. So shout out
Aubameyang.
But also, I feel like on a technical level, we might be forgetting how good he was and how quick he was as well. I mean, if you're looking at short spaces, a lot of his goals, they didn't come from him, beating 50 guys and then slapping in the top corner. It was very much you give him any sort of room in the 18-yard box, and before you know it, it's in the back of the net. And that's the type of striker I feel like a lot of young players they should be looking at. No frills. Be a good player all you want, but the most important thing is knowing how to put the ball into the back of the net. At critical times as well, under pressure as well. He was so good at that. So
who would you compare him to?
Great player, man.
Who would you compare him to?
Right now.
Because I have one, but I don't think it's a good comparison, but I want to see what you're going to say.
I'd probably say maybe Osimhen.
Maybe who now? Osimhen. Okay. I can see that.
Only probably because as a young player, Osimhen reminds me, in terms of the way Osimhen gets his goals, was very similar to Anelka, on the shoulder. There wasn't a lot of thinking involved. It was just, okay, I'm in front of goal now, the ball's going in the back of the net kind of thing.
Yeah, run into space, hit it. Run into space, hit it. That's it. Run the channels, score.
Yeah, so that was, and again, upper body strength as well. And a lot of people might not know this as well. Everyone says Henry was Anelka's replacement. Wenger's dream was to actually pair them together. And everyone knows, we all know what potentially that could have been.
That would have been real scary hours. Trust me, real scary hours.
Yeah, so leave it at that.
So, the last player, let me just run off some stats. I'm reading off my handy notebook. 1996, 1997, 2002 FIFA World Player of the Year. Ballon d'Or in 97 at 21 and 2002. 2 World Cups to his name. The first Nike Mercury boot. 62 goals in 98 games for Brazil. Golden Ball 98. 1 Copa America 97. This is Ronaldo we're talking about, the OG Brazilian Ronaldo. I mean, we can talk about his Inter days, talk about his Madrid days, we're gonna talk about his Barcelona days. Now, let me run off some stats about this Barcelona team. This team had Figo, Enrique, Pep, Guardiola, Emilio Amunike.
He was mid.
Laurent Blanc, Stojkovic, and Giovanni. They finished 2 points behind Madrid in the table. He was 20 years old and he scored 40 goals in 46 games. Before that, at PSV, he scored 54 goals in 57 games. At Cruzeiro, he scored 41 goals in 45 games. This guy did all of this before 23 years old, right? Ronaldo was a different animal, a different beast. He's probably the GOAT striker of all time. So whenever I see people call him Fat Ronaldo, I'm like, put some respect on his name, please, because this guy, before his knee injuries, was just a different football player. I mean, I mean, like, I don't even know where else to start with this guy because it's like everything kind of speaks for himself. I mean,
I'll give you a good starting point. The World Cup final and how Thuram and the whole French team were literally making plans for him.
yep. And we'll put that clip up right here.
Le passement de Ronaldo de jambes, il est que d'un côté, c'est-à-dire il fait ça et il entraîne toujours du droit, jamais de l'autre côté. C'est-à-dire qu'il fait son passement du gauche.
This isn't your run-of-the-mill Gary Caldwell saying, "Oh no, I've got to go up against Kenwyne Jones." We're talking about one of the greatest defenders and one of the greatest national teams, literally thinking of a plan for one guy.
I'm looking at Marcel Desailly, a grown man with Ghanaian heritage. See those Ghanaians again. Literally scared, talking about Ronaldo. He said, he do a leg like this. Like, have you seen that documentary? That documentary clip about him talking about Ronaldo before that final? Like, this man was afraid. You know, granted they won the game because some weird stuff happened. We'll never know what happened. I just think he had a seizure and that was it. Like, pretty much. I don't know what else to say about that. It wasn't quite the lasagna Spurs Arsenal theme, but you know, and to think of what he achieved in his career despite everything that went wrong. Like, he barely took his career seriously, and look at everything he won before age 23. That's crazy to me.
And the craziest thing about Ronaldo is that, like, you guys think what Neymar is doing is bad now. Neymar's just, like, doing what his elders did. Who is Neymar to mess with tradition? I mean, Romario, for example. Romario, like, scored 2 goals at halftime. Bobby Robson, he told Bobby Robson, like, I want to go home. And he basically went home to go to Carnival. I mean, Ronaldo, in 96, like, from December, January, he took 9 journeys back home to Brazil and bought an island. So that's where we're going to leave it right there. That's where we're going to leave it right there. That's just a fun fact. So if I could compare Ronaldo to a player right now, it's Mbappe. I mean, they're just 2 young freaks who just literally just changing the way football is. It's just like, who are you and why are you so young and doing this? So, yeah, Ronaldo is probably the greatest teenage phenomenon you've ever seen in your life. Like, literally, it's like.
And not to be rude to Mbappe here, but he's not putting up peak Ronaldo numbers yet. He just looks like him on the field, but he's not matching those numbers yet. And this was back before people were reaching these kind of numbers. Like, Ronaldo and Messi have spoiled us. That's why we care about stats so much right now. Back then, I didn't give a toss about assists or goals or whatever, but he was putting up those video game numbers back in the mid-90s. That's crazy to me. Like, and Mbappe may get there someday, but he's not there yet. He just looks like Ronaldo.
And the last thing I'm gonna add, Ronaldo's nickname is El Phenomenal. So you can go translate that, which literally means the phenom. So, yeah. We really want to thank you guys so much for watching these classic episodes. You know, right now, you know, with Corona and everything, it's peak hours. You know, we miss football, but we want to make sure that you guys are, you know, continue to stay engaged with us. Don't forget to use the hashtag SPS. Follow us on our Instagram. Follow us on our Twitter. We're gonna continue to put up more of the playlist because music is also important too. So yeah, continue to interact with us and share with us some more plays you guys want to talk about. So from us, we're out. Peace.
Take your shirt off. Take your shirt off. Plenty.